You don't know how good it can get. And I'm just like, it is my Jesus year for real. Like, it is happening. Life is happening for me. Hello. I don't even know where to start. Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Alex. If you've been following me on this YouTube journey, you've been with me since 2017. It's almost 10 years later and so much has happened in my life. So much has changed in my life. So I just wanted to go through a quick little life update before I just start going back to posting on YouTube how I was doing back in 2017. When you left this channel, I was 26 years old and now I'm 33. I have faith with Alex, if you remember, and I'm still the same girl. I still love to talk about my faith. I still love God. I still love Jesus. 33 years old. I live in a completely new city, new state from when I was first posting on YouTube. When I started this channel in 2017, I really just had a heart for women. I had a heart to serve. I had a heart to give and be generous with the lessons I was learning, be generous with the revelations I was given. And I was just growing so much in Christ. I had just graduated college. I moved to Atlanta. I was in my first big girl job, living in my own apartment, paying my own bills, and just kind of embracing adult life, as they say, you know, once you leave college. I got engaged. I got married. I'm almost 2 years married now at the recording of this video. I'll be 2 years married next month to my husband. And obviously so much has changed, but even before I became a wife, so much of my life transitioned, which is why I stopped recording on YouTube. Let's rewind the script a little bit. Now, this is where the story kind of dropped off, or at least where you guys kind of last really saw me was 2019. It's because I went and worked for a church. I left the corporate environment, which was a huge faith step. You know, we always see people making different moves in their lives. And for me, it came from me feeling like, okay, I always loved faith and business. I've always wanted to merge those two in my life. It has always felt like a natural path for me. And when I got the opportunity to go work at the church, I was like, okay, maybe this is that way. When I worked for the church, it was so much on my plate but also they kind of pushed me to end out my YouTube channel. And I think looking back now that I'm older, I can say, like, I should have stood up for myself a lot more and been like, no, I don't think I'm gonna stop. Like, this is what I feel that I want to do and it's what I'm called to do. However, at the time, it was so much on my plate and it was so much that I was trying to carry on my own. It was a lot to kind of keep up with. And so I took a step back and I was like, okay, I'll stop, you know, trying to continue to grow my YouTube platform. Because at that time, I had over 1,000 followers, which is kind of sat there and plateaued. So again, hello to everyone who still is there. And it kind of just sat there until while I was working at this church. And fast forward in 2021, I left that church. And for so many reasons that it's just like, you know, it was a lot of chaos going on. I was getting hurt. Other people were getting hurt. Families were getting torn apart. Like it just became a very toxic environment, and I had to leave for the sanity of myself. And that also pulled me even more away from the camera, because when you're going through a transition that is so close to home, in a sense of like, I worked at this church, my friends were at this church, my career was at this church, my community, in my faith, in a sense, like I always had a connection to God regardless, but obviously you work in a church, you're at a church, it's like, okay, like you connect that to God in some way. So when I left, it pulled me back even more. And I'm like, I had to get myself together. I have to heal. I had to take time away from myself. I was in a very depleted place at the time and really could not say anything. I couldn't really speak, and it was times where I wanted to kind of share things that were happening, but I also felt like my story was tied to so many other people's story. I was hurt, so many other people were hurt, so it just kind of felt like I didn't have the permission at the time to really say everything. However, behind the scenes, it was a lot of unfolding. It was a lot of I feel like it was just very dark at that time in 2021. Y'all know as a world, we went through the pandemic. I feel like my life was going through a pandemic at this time too. And I was experiencing something actually that I didn't understand about God's sovereignty at the time. And when I say that, I mean like, I was in position at this church where I felt like I could intercede on its behalf, where I was leading other people, where I was influencing other people just by nature of being on staff. And when things started to fall apart, I really felt like, okay, if I pray long enough, if I stand in the gap long enough, if I try to say and speak truth to leadership long enough, that things will change, that obviously good is going to win at the end of this. However, when it came time for me to leave, nothing had changed, and God was just like, you need to get out. And that was very interesting for me in my faith walk, because I just didn't understand that. I'm like, no, good is supposed to win. Like, this is not supposed to happen. And I'm young and kind of, a lot of naivety there, but also just a lot of just my childlike faith was kind of influencing me to stay longer than I should have. So when I really finally left, I was very depleted. It just took a lot out of me to the point that I really just didn't know what my next step was going to be. But like always, I rise above. Like always, I figure out how to keep my life moving forward. And I leaned on God and trusted God to kind of rebuild my life and show me what the next step was going to be. And so from there, I moved to Texas. And I actually started back at the same company I worked at before I went and worked at the church, which just was a huge restoration season for me. Like, I was traveling, I was leading again, I was connecting with people again. I had security around me, I had safety around me. I was still dealing with the heartbreak of the past, but at least at that point I had changed. I was able to change my environment. I was able to kind of force my way to move forward. But there was so many times where like I would wake up and you kind of got to orient yourself again to like where you currently are. And so I feel like a lot of that was happening as I kind of tried to transition back, and I went to stay with my parents and just kind of got nurtured and taken care of and loved on. And by the end of 22, I had moved back out to my own place. And this apartment, guys, was like so amazing for me. It was the place that like I was already healing. Even when I was in Tennessee and kind of left the church, I was already healing and kind of taking steps back towards myself and centering myself. But even more when I got into my own place, my own apartment, I was able to decorate it exactly how I wanted to decorate it. I had a velvet green couch, I had floor to ceiling windows, I had a city view. Like, all of these things were things I specifically said I wanted, and then I was able to work and get it and see it come to life, which was just so fulfilling. It felt so good to be back in the place that I felt I had some autonomy for myself again, an agency for myself again. So that whole season for me, I tried to come back to YouTube and record again. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting my flow again. Maybe I'll come back to YouTube. Maybe I'll try to post a few videos here and there. Nope. No. Didn't work. I tried to post. You may have saw a video, but it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel right. I tried to start a podcast, the New Wine Podcast. It was about how you can't pour new wine into old wineskins, and really taking the revelations of how when you are progressing and you're trying to do something new and walk out something new, you can't go back to old patterns. So I was trying to do that. It wasn't flowing right. And I'm just like, okay, God, maybe this, I don't know what to do. I feel like I know that you put something in me to speak and to encourage. But what happened next was really something that I didn't know was an option. And it was really just a season of intentional rest, meaning I have taken my time more. I have been able to really go and enjoy my life again and not feel the need to take people on a journey of what that looked like, which was like, I don't know. I think for me, I'm a person who I like to share. I don't care about people seeing the bad per se. It's because I just feel like it's gonna be all right. I don't know. I just have that feeling in me. It's like, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna work out. Like, God got me. It's going to figure itself out, And I learned how to wait patiently for God while I was in so many transitions of the past. I just felt like, well, maybe I could show this. Maybe I could talk about this. Maybe I could do this. But it just didn't. It didn't flow. when you're gifted, you're often loved for your gift, which can twist your mind to thinking that that's the only thing that people want from you, right? Like if you're speaking, people just want you to speak. If you're a singer, when every time you hang at the dinner table, they want you to sing a song, you know, and those things are great. Like it's cool that people celebrate your gift. However, when you're attaching your identity to your gifting, I think that's where we can all get off balance, and that's where I was too at the time. And I learned from God that He just wanted me to be His daughter, and He just wanted me to sit and rest and continue to heal and continue to let go of the past and continue to grow. And so when those things were not flowing like I was used to them flowing, I didn't keep going. I'm like, all right, well, that's it. I can't fake it, right? Like I had to just stop and take a pause. I would not know that, you know, stopping all those things really in the beginning of 2023 would propel me to go on really, I guess, a 3-year journey. If I say 2022 to 2025, a 3-year journey of just finding myself again and going through somewhat of a spiritual awakening again. These are all the states I've lived in: Alabama, Mobile, Tennessee, Mobile. Tennessee and Chattanooga, somewhere over here.
Right now, Tennessee, Chattanooga, right? You do. Right in. There you go.
And I lived in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, she totally out. Right there. There you go.
Atlanta, Georgia, and Houston, Texas. Somewhere right here. Yeah. And it was like good things were happening in my life, you know, transitions and moving into a new apartment and kind of finding my way in a new city again. But I just also wasn't sharing about it. And that was intentional. That was God-led. And it felt appropriate to where I was. Going through all these transitions, right, of new job, a new job in 2019, leaving the corporate environment. Leaving the church environment, going back to the corporate environment in 2022, moving out of my parents' house again and going to live in the city again, finding my balance, finding my place, and putting my things exactly how I like them, not just how I could manage to put them, right? Like sometimes we go through seasons where it's like, I can only manage to put one pillow here on this couch. However, I was in a place where I was dreaming. I was putting things how I wanted them. And I found stability, so much stability within myself in that, so much fun in myself in that. You know, healing my childhood wounds and really getting to know what younger Alex was striving for, what she really needed, what she didn't get, and how I could reparent myself. I've done all of that over the past 3 years, and it's brought me into this place at the top of 2026 where I really feel so much momentum in my life, so much growth. I feel so much like excitement. When I was telling you guys about how I moved into that apartment that I just decorated exactly how I wanted, it was everything that I wanted. Who would know that my husband now would be living, you know, around the corner a couple doors, and we would meet at this apartment complex. And we dated in 2023. We got engaged in 2024. I got married in 2024. And I'll be celebrating 2 years being married next month. And if you've ever been in love, you know when you meet someone, when you meet your person, the type of growth that season brings. And so I was now starting another journey with my person and really finding myself again, finding my voice again. And he's been so instrumental in that process with me that I really feel like I'm Alex 10.0, like because of him and because of the ways that he has stewarded like my life alongside him. Like we came together as two individuals who had a lot of dreams and two people who were doing just fine in a sense, you know, being single on our own and living in the city and, you know, doing great. However, when we came together and we started to become mirrors to each other, I started to see areas that I needed to continue to grow. And I was tired of growing a little bit. Like I was just like, man, I just went through all of that. Now I'm starting something new in the sense of being in relationship with someone and doing life with them and figuring out the ways that you need to elevate. But alongside of all those joyous things, you guys did not really see it because I was still in a place where God had told me to stop, right? He had already told me like slow down and stop and pause and really live inside of my life and really not attach a big season to it having to be a ministry that is shown in front of others. And I don't know if any of you can relate to that. If you're in a place where you're like trying to get your flow back, but it's just not flowing, I encourage you to just let it not flow for right now. Like maybe seek God about how you can be intentional about your self-care, intentional about your rest, intentional about the relationships around you, relearning who you are and rediscovering who you are. It produces so much fruit on the other side that I think if you don't take the time to really sit and rest and really listen to that instruction, you still get to the other side, but you're just not as fulfilled as you would have been if you just kind of like surrendered to that instruction in season. And I think that's kind of what I've been doing. And so now I'm coming back to YouTube. It's like, I don't know how to catch y'all up. So all I can do at this point, I think, is kind of share where I am today and share some lessons I've learned today that I'm walking out today. And that feels good. And I hope that you see something in me or something in this channel again that feels refreshing and feels light enough that you can listen to it on your way to work, on your drive home, you know, as you're going to the grocery store, as you're washing dishes, as you're just doing your everyday routine. I love creating my home, and it has been such a beautiful ride, such a beautiful testament of like, you don't know how good it can get. That's kind of how I feel about my life right now. It's like you just don't know how good it can get, because there have been many moments, many times throughout the past 7 years that I felt like I don't know where this is going, but I know I'm going somewhere. And now that I'm at the somewhere, as in some way, you know, it's like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't give up. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't make that decision that would have changed my life, you know, in a drastic way. Because now I see life with more abundant eyes than I had before. So like being loved well, being taken care of properly, being talked to nicely and just loved on. I have an amazing husband who's so caring and kind and like, I don't know, like I don't know how it all kind of happened. It just kind of did. So I just want to invite you guys into where I am today. Come on in, come on in, come on in. It's my Jesus year. I turned 33 on a Sunday this year, Palm Sunday at that. And I'm just like, it is my Jesus year for real. Like it is happening. Life is happening for me. And I think because I took so much time to just live in it and figure out the changes that were going on, it feels good now. I hope this is making sense. Like I'm just been loving being so creative at the nail salon when I go, and just like especially when I want to spend that money, it's like, okay, how much fun do we want to have? So now that I'm on the other side, I see why he took his time on me. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here along for the ride. But it's still been the same God. Like, I was worshiping this morning, having some quiet time, and I'm like, it's still the same God who was with me in my apartment when I was single and trying to figure out what career move to make. Like, it's the same God who's here in this home and this family I'm creating and a new city, and all of that is like very cool to reflect on. You want the treat? Oh. Shake. Okay. Shake. You have to press the button. Come here. Come here. Look, Jax. Hit the button. Hit. Jackson, you can do hard things. You can. Come on, let's tap it. Andy
Mid-bite. Mid-bite. You gotta try this on camera.
That's some good food. We are here getting flowers. Thorell's avocado and egg toast, my overnight oats. Cheers. We just got a coffee. Walking to Marshall's. Whoop, whoop. Whose idea? Megan's and Tiffany. Not mine, but it'll be fun.
Dress the best for less than Marshall.
Happy Chicago trip. Checked into my room. It was only $40 to check in early. So it is 11:56. Check-in was down until 4 p.m. It's like, I have a room available if you want to pay $4 fee. I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely, sign me up. So first one here, gonna rest, recharge, refresh before we go to lunch, and there we go. I kind of want to redecorate in here. Like, I feel like this should be over there, but I moved those blinds back to get more light in the room. You know, we're gonna move home, girl, over here. Let me not play, because I do not want to pay for this. This is better for you, girl. That's better. So, you know, just a little minor tweaks. Night one, we are going to Virtue tonight for dinner, and I literally just have on all black, very casual, with boots and curly hair, which looks and feels good.
I think this is my ringtone. I'm not.
All right, second coffee, got us in the baker. Sandwiches, croissant, all that. I got a pistachio croissant and a pistachio coffee. I love pistachio. Can't get enough of it. Look how big this is. This Crate and Barrel box. This box showed up on my doorstep today. I don't know who sent it, but as I started to open it, I'm like, this is gorgeous. Very great packaging. A serving set. I just figured out who this was from, and I am shocked and so surprised and So grateful. Nia and Dre, you guys are so sweet. Now, I can't use this now until y'all come over to our house, but this just reminded me of having intentional people around my life, because I have not shared my address, but I know you got the address from the invite, and that's just stuff I would do. That's something that I would do. And I just think that's so sweet. How adorable. At least I think this is how this goes. Oh, I love it. So imagine some guacamole, then you have corn chips, you have flour chips, you have celery, you have carrots, different little bites, but the same dip. And then you have this tray, which is just gorgeous. I mean, you could put charcuterie, you can put nachos. Okay. I'm still learning this camera. Okay, bye.